Very good. If anything, you might actually hurt your neck because you'll bend where you're not supposed to. Or you're bending too much where you're already bending. I know, it takes me here's a couple.
Oh, hang on.
I've been playing basketball for 20-something years, community college, high school, and now I'm do basketball on YouTube, influencer, and
Okay.
work with a lot of different people. So
Tell me what's going on. You're feeling upper shoulders, neck.
yeah, I've had gone to physical therapy several times for a year. They can't really figure something thoracic outlet. They're not really sure. They'll get me somewhat all right, like stable, my neck.
Mhm.
But then right when I do any like more activities, it flares up in that back of that scapula.
Pain
And
back
it-
there?
Yeah,
Any-
and it goes up to make stiffness on the neck, and then I can't really pull. I can't do anything.
Do you feel anything radiate down your arm?
I used to get a lot of tingly down there.
The pinky and ring finger?
Yeah.
Anything in the thumb index, you think, or mainly just
No,
just in the
just
end of
those
okay.
ones.
Who said the word thoracic outlet? Do they? Just curious.
They've kind of thrown that out. One of the physical therapists, after he worked with me for months, he's like, "Well, I think it might be." He's not really.
It's very
He
good,
didn't know. He
I'm
was
just- No pictures of taken of your neck though. No X-rays or MRIs.
I've done some X-rays.
Okay.
They said there was like some C5,
6, 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's what happens is the lower neck, the wires that come out of there form what we call the brachial plexus. Is a bunch of nerves, 3 nerves, median, radial, and ulnar, that go down your arm. So many times they might say it's carpal tunnel, but when you're dealing with the pinky and ring finger, that's the ulnar nerve, and so it's not carpal tunnel. There is pressure on the nerves coming out of your lower neck. A lot of it has to do with our posture, our mobility. So if your upper neck is tight, the lower neck overworks. The more forward your head goes, the more leverage you place on your lower neck. And as tall as you are, every conversation you have with somebody is going to be looking
Always
down. So that puts a lot of stress on
It's
your
going more down. Yeah.
Right, so we were going to loosen up the upper back. The channel is right here that
Yeah.
goes, and then you're saying right here on the, when you tilt your head back, does it get worse? If you look up at the ceiling, does that make it, how does that feel when you do that?
I feel like just tightness.
Tightness, pressure?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're in a little bit of right avoidance, even the way your shirt likes to sit on you.
Yeah.
The shirt is closer to your neck because it's sort of like how
Yeah.
this shoulder will come down more
I
easily.
feel like it's not in place.
Right.
Like it's not in its socket.
Your body's gonna, when you're pinching nerves on the right side, your body will do this motion. It'll try to lower your
Yeah.
right shoulder and tilt your head left because the holes the nerves go through get larger when you tilt.
Yeah.
So it's what we call antalgia, a modification of where you are in posture to try to relieve nerve pressure.
I haven't been able to do over like 45-pound chest stuff because right when I do, this starts pinching really
Right.
bad in it.
Right. When you're doing a bench press, if anything, you'll lock your spine, put a lot of pressure on your lower neck, and that'll pinch the nerves.
Yeah.
When you're stressing out the engine is when things are gonna flare up. There we go. Bend both of them, feet flat.
Have you been adjusted before?
Kind of, not really.
Not in a while.
Not really, no. It wasn't like a full adjustment thing.
All right,
I
let me
don't know
check
what
it.
it was, to be honest.
All right, deep breath in for me. I got you, brother. It's okay. Let your head go back. Let all the air out. You're doing great. Here we go, bud. Beautiful. Deep breath in. Little quiet moves. Exhale. Nice. Deep breath in. Chin down a little bit. Exhale. Good stand there. Yeah, reluctant there at the top. We're going to get that.
All of a sudden, I was getting a little IT band issues on my left side.
Okay.
I don't know if that's because I've been playing a lot of parks.
Right, the lower back. So this is the stabilizers, but the lower back controls those areas.
And then all of a sudden, it would just go right to the outside of that knee, right away.
Yeah, it's just.
Something with that back of that glute or with that, I don't know if that has something to do with my body forming that way for so long. Animal 1-foot jumper.
That's a good question. So the more forward your head goes, the more leverage you place on your lower back. So your lower back will be under increased stress the more forward your head goes. So then if you play
Yeah.
in a posture that's forward, the stress is amplified on your lower back. the lower back controls the legs.
Right, okay.
Yeah, bottom leg straight. I'm gonna try to move some pressure off that lower back here. There we go, good. There we go. Look over this shoulder. Breathe. I got you. Exhale. Let it go. Nice. Other side for me. I got you. Breathe. Exhale. There you go. Exhale. There you go. Face up for me. Beautiful. My bread and butter. So when I wake up in the morning, and I love fixing necks. It's my favorite. I think of the movie Inception. Somewhat of a speciality of mine. I love that movie.
Love that one. That's one of my favorites.
Where the one guy's like, what is he, doing forgeries and whatnot. He's like, that's somewhat of a specialty. Fixing necks and headaches. Yeah, the right side of your neck. Can you feel this bump right here?
Yeah.
And then there's hardly anything on the left side. So there's an injury on the right upper part of your neck that is allowing your head to tilt. You understand? And you're in right avoidance because you're trying to avoid this right side that's pinched. Eventually, it'll lead to what we call the compensatory pain, which is to the left side.
Yeah, that's
so,
what I don't want.
Right. So you're young enough now that we don't have the compensatory pain. We just have the initial right lower neck stress, and he's in right avoidance. Nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah, nice. You did good. Chin up, relax. Nice. There, feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Usually name these after old relationships. She broke my heart. Anyway, yeah, this is an old. Yeah, right there. That knot is why you're feeling the shoulder and arm. If your upper neck was working properly, the lower neck would be just happy. It's really not possible to have thoracic outlet if two things are happening.
That's why I know. I was kind of like confused by all that.
Yeah, if the upper neck is working, if the upper neck is mechanically participating, the lower neck won't overstress. If there's a curve in your neck called a lordosis or an arch, the lower neck will be happy, so that your neck actually belongs, as odd as it might feel. This is home. When you were a year old, everybody has a curve in their neck. And when we, especially being tall, like I said earlier, looking down in school and life and basketball, we lose this arch. It's not valued. And so my office is under the foundation of restoring these arches. There you go. Excellent. Yeah, right there, that little click. Because of our posture changing, the lower neck becomes the loosest, and the lower neck and your arm are synonymous. They're the same thing. So and then that tension you feel in your upper back has to do with the more forward the head goes. And in order to change that, we have to make your spine supple, and then we're going to show you how to stretch and get the head back.
I used to get a lot of neck strains, and I'd play through them.
Mm-hmm.
And I did contract work for summers at times, and had the right arm up. And
Right there. This is the other end of the same muscle. Right here. We're going to get that in a second. This is why the pec is, why you're feeling it on that side, is this. The nerves have to travel, sojourn through this tissue in here. This tightness is simply because the head's forward.
Mm-hmm.
The more forward, and like I said, I'm probably the first person to tell you, look, your head's forward. You have to.
It's like
you have to
it
address that.
will sit in properly for a little while, but then right when like the knot gets in, it just goes like all of a sudden I just can't. It just goes back.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Yeah, right there.
But you get a lot of this similar, right?
There's a right. It's
It's-
we see patterns. Yeah, we
Yeah,
definitely see
yeah.
patterns. I think of it like a car. You know, many cars will have a
Yeah.
particular problem that's pervasive throughout a model, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, and if it gets too pervasive or if it's dangerous, they have a recall, right?
Good way to put it, because we're all kind of shaped different, or
Right. I mean,
different little stuff that bothers it more, maybe.
right. They're all different cars, you know, and so different models have different problems. If you have long
Yeah.
neck versus a short neck, if you're tall, if you're short, you know, there's different builds that we see and leverage. The longer the neck is, the more leverage you place on your upper back. So, you know, one of the good things about the no neckers, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to. That's why they're great boxers.
Yeah,
It's hard to hurt
that's
them. They have no neck.
Sure.
Just can't whiplash them that much. when you have a longer neck, you're more susceptible to a larger range of motion and whiplash. So
Yeah,
it's
that's what I used to get a lot, yeah.
right. Yeah. Both sides are responsible, but the right side is more responsible. Mhm. There we go. Let it go right there. I'm waiting. Let it go. There you go. Nice. That was the same bone, just moved at a deeper level, like a drawer, like a sliding pocket door. I'm trying to close the joints on the right. What that does is it takes the pressure off the disc, and that's what I foresee is going on in your lower neck, is that there's so much interdiscal pressure on the front in your lower neck, and that's why we have disc injury. So it's about getting the knuckles to hold more weight, getting your head back over your shoulder, and then like clay or like metal, you have to then mold it and cast it into this posture.
This is the one that usually bothers it.
If it's too bothering you, put it on by your side.
No. I'm saying like when I stretch it.
All right, let's try to loosen it up a little bit. Ultimately, I think the only piece that you're really missing then is the stretching. The alignment, if you haven't been what we call mirror image stretching, then the problems will just come back quickly. Does that make sense? You're not dealing with the source for why the pec is tight, why there's pressure on your lower neck. They've been cleaning. It's like you've been sweeping, but you haven't taken your shoes off. And so you keep on tracking in more dirt into your house, and you're wondering why it keeps getting dirty. We're not solving the reason for why there's a buildup. Let me put the arm back down. Just a little bit more down for me. If you get perfect, you got it. Right there, that's that knot. See that coming up right there? That's the... Very quickly, only a few swipes at it. Did they ever comb you up here at the top here?
No.
No? Yeah. I feel like I probably missed that one. This tightness. See, let your head go back. Keep going back, keep going back. See, and then head back forward. See, right there is where he's folded too much, and it's tight up here, and then he folds a little bit too much right below there. So we want
It
to...
can just easily fold.
Right. Yeah, you're bending too much at the bottom. And then the nerves travel through this tissue right here. There. You're doing great. How quickly that comes out. This hasn't been cleaned. It's like the first time you're on a vacuum cleaner. Nobody's vacuumed in a while. You can tell it's even how much darker that appears. See how this is like more red? Somebody was cleaning here, but this, do you see that, Carl? This is like, it's like a darker appearance. The darker the mark is, almost the older the blood that's been trapped in there, the older the lactic acid. This side's more flush or red. This is like right there, it's like a darker appearance. Right there, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell.
Mm.
This is the side that's like
Symptomatic,
really, like,
yeah.
felt it's like loose cartilage or something.
Yeah, we'll
You
get
know,
it. Yeah, all around the shoulder blade. Right there, yeah. It's almost audible. Yeah. Curve curve is not able to be created or destroyed. It just changes places. When we lose the curve in our neck, it goes into an accentuated curve in the chest. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So as we reduce this hyperkyphosis, it'll induce the right curve in your neck and lower back. And if those two curves are where they're supposed to be, then we're not going to be overstressing the lower neck and lower back. So this is, sometimes people wonder why I'm pushing hard in your upper back. It's because this is actually larger than it's supposed to be. And in order to have currency or curve able to be put back into your neck and lower back, we have to remove it, the excessive curve that's in your upper back chest area. And that's really the only piece to me that you're missing. And that's why nothing really lasts and you get, temporary relief. And
Yep, temporary every time.
we have to teach you to stretch. So it's imperative that after you're worked on, that we aim you into the right position so that your spine hardens. That makes sense, in the right position, not just staying in a loose, or the wrong position. Right there. There we go, right there. Attachments on the scapula are being tugged on all the time. That's based on the angle of his head to shoulder. So it's not ever going to go away until we get the head back. That's the first piece of this. In order to get your head back, we have to make your chest supple. If anything, you might actually hurt your neck because you'll bend where you're not supposed to. Or you're bending too much where you're already bending.
I'm at the point in my life, like, I'll do anything to fix this.
You're prepped.
Like,
You're-
I've already tried, like, and I'm not giving up. This is like,
Good, yeah.
that's why you, like, something, like, randomly, like, made me come here. Like, it was weird.
Aw.
You're all prepped. You're
Yeah,
ready to go.
I'm
You're-
ready.
Yeah,
So
'cause-
I'll put in the work, I'll do whatever it takes.
We'll show you in a minute. We're going to start stretching, and I'll show you how we're going to.
Because no one's ever talked to you about stretching your posture into the right position before?
I mean, I feel like I've got, like, I get the same dot in that back of that
Mhm.
scapula area,
Mhm.
right when I start doing, like, any more weight, and then it gets tight in the chest, and then it gets,
We got to get all this out of here.
there's, like, always that, like, loose, right up in there, there's always, like,
Mhm.
loose cartilage, and then just, like,
Yeah, there's injury to these ribs, inflammation here that prevents your scapula from retracting back. So this space is occupied right now.
Yeah, it's-
And so we have to move these ribs out of the way, and that'll allow your shoulder to come back. That'll release the tension on the pec.
Yeah.
These are postural distortions, and they can't simply be fixed by even adjustments. Adjustments are just the necessary tools that are used to get the spine prepped. Massage, cupping, gua sha.
yeah, I know it's gonna be a constant, what I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah, like brushing your teeth and caring for your teeth.
Exactly the
Care
same,
for your
right?
spine. Yep.
I mean, I'm big into, I do yoga all the time,
Oh, good.
all that, so.
Good.
Yeah, I think I had like a 3 month stretch where it was feeling pretty good.
Okay.
But then like one little jerk or something
Mhm.
happened and then it just goes right back to square one.
Yeah, it's called being right sub-threshold. So a treatment brought you sub-threshold, and then all it takes is one little
It was
straw
one
rope
little,
push
it
to,
was something small.
yeah, to bring you back over the threshold
And then I
again.
just had to kind of go, it's like almost square one again.
Mhm. Let it go. There you go, yeah. All right, here we go. Over the kill. Here we go. fasciolata right there. You might even feel it in the leg when I do this. This is right there. Tough. This is tough. The sciatic nerve has to traverse through here, so any.
Oh, so this is where the area of the IT band probably is. This is exactly, because I've been doing these certain stretches, but there's still, it's off. It's
Yeah,
like-
you gotta clear any soreness in here. You can't, if there's soreness and tenderness in here, ultimately this area is cleaned by the motion of the sacroiliac joint. So when we sit, this SI joint gets stiff, that congests the glute area. So if the SI joint's moving, usually we're on a pretty fast track to this area cleaning itself
like
out.
this has been like probably the more right here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, all right, let's get it. Right there. Right there. Back of the greater trochanter right here. This is a lot of the muscles attached in here. Right there. I think I found something. No, Ed, nothing to see. Right there. Right there. That's where the TFL is coming from.
I just need to try to relax, right?
Yeah, it's all coming out. It's all pouring
Yeah.
out here.
Oh, okay.
It's all coming out. There's
Is it
lac.
pretty sore?
Yeah, right there. I'm sure.
No, I don't even feel it.
Not too bad. Okay.
No, doesn't bother me at all.
So the tensor fasciolata muscle runs from the sort of the highest part of the iliac crest to the top of the greater trochanter. So the muscle belly is here, the tensor fasciolata muscle, and then the tensor part, the muscle part is here, and then the fascia runs from the greater trochanter all the way down to the side of the knee. So this muscle is only about 2 inches long, and so any tightness in here will affect the fascia on the whole side of the thigh. But the tightness is what needs to be clear. Now this muscle is controlled by the lower back, so the domino effect is that the lower back gets upset, this muscle gets contracted, the whole thigh is affected, and it's not your fault in the sense that you're not contracting this muscle purposefully. It's being contracted because there's a false signal being sent to it because the lower back's in distress.
I was so confused for so long why this outside of the knee kept bothering me. I was like, fine, my knee's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
And all of a sudden, I just kept doing research, like IT something.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of that. So even though the nerve controls the leg, sometimes going in and working on the leg will help to speed up the process of getting the soreness out of the tissue. The soreness is the acidity. The acidity prevents the area from returning back to the way it's supposed to be, so washing out the tissue will speed up this process. There we go. When I mean washing, I mean blood flow. Blood is obviously what hydrates the tissue, it brings nutrients in, takes the waste out. That's really what the word replacement is, or healing. It's really the word replacement. Very good. All right. Yeah, so that's the,
Okay.
all that is the acidity. Obviously your head's down here, so this is all, I want to clean all this out of here. This acidity is what you're feeling as tension, things not flowing properly. So, and that's remember how the tightest part of your back was in the upper back, so the movement of the vertebrae helps to keep that tissue clean. I'm going to go in a little bit, we're going to face down, and I'm going to adjust that again. There we go. There we go. Nice. I gotcha. There Okay, I got you. Breathe. I know it's tough. There it is. There it is a little bit. Oh boy. Mhm. Good. Okay. Okay. Wow, this is jammed. That's about it. Oh, a little bit there, okay. There we go. These guys are moving easier, so you push off on your right leg a lot?
Yep.
That's your push off, so everything's really jammed here on the top
We
two.
just played a bunch of street ball last night. 8 games. Yeah, I didn't feel that.
You want to be working on curl in this direction. When you're pushing off, you're essentially going like this with your toes, and that jams these joints where you can feel these knuckles are growing. See how this joint right here is bigger. Feel that?
Yeah.
So
sure.
eventually it's going to be causing drop metatarsal, and as this bone, you get toe pain. And so you want to work on two things. You want to work on pulling the toe, traction to get some blood in there, and then work on trying to curl in this direction, the opposite of
Yeah, okay.
going like this. We want to, that makes sense, this
Yeah.
direction. I know, it takes me usually a couple.
Oh, hang on.
All right. It's just jammed, I'm not going to get any of that. Don't get.
I did
Right.
pec stretch. I did pec stretch.
Nothing was held for 20 minutes though. You didn't hold anything
Nothing
for 20 minutes.
minutes.
That's the minimum required
Nah.
to change it permanently.
It was like 30 seconds.
Right, because you're doing muscle stretches. See, the posture is not determined by muscles. Your posture is determined by ligaments, the rubber bands that wrap your spine. So if you just go like this for 30 seconds, you're just stretching muscles. The issue is that the tight ligaments pull you back forward. So you have to hold it for about 20 minutes. Now, in order to have enough depth, you understand, to be able to go deep enough, the structures on your back need to be able to compress. That's what we just did face down. We closed all the joints in a more aggressive way,
Yeah.
pushing on them so that we can actually get a proper depth when we're stretching that it's effective. Here we go. Do you want to tilt your head to the left for me? To the left. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Just some fun stuff. There we go. Go ahead and tilt your head left for a minute for me. Bet you never thought that could move.
No.
Nobody told me, Ed. Go ahead and tilt your head to the right. There we go, a little bit. I got you. Tilt your head right. There we go. You're good sport.
Yeah.
Now, you come over here for me. You can move all these angles. So you can put your arms together up here at the top. If your hands go numb, you need to move them to the side or on the belly, take a break. They will go numb because the pectoralis is over top the brachial plexus. So as you're as you're stretching the pec, it can press down on the nerves underneath. That will happen less as your back and pecs stretch out. But the first 20 times you do this, it's going to happen more frequently.
And how far would you
Right.
go down
Yep,
more? Or
yep,
would
you're
you
ready to
go
go all the way down.
up?
So all the way down to about middle back, right about here. So you're
See,
gonna.
I've never even gone like that.
It's okay. Never down to all the way down to your lower back.
Yeah,
If your
I
bottom,
always heard that,
if your
yeah.
bottom comes off the ground, you're too low. But we don't want to loosen the lower back. It's already too loose. So we're going to end about middle back. Go ahead and move 1 inch. Go ahead and try. Slide. There you go. Too difficult? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Good.
All right, so now I got to turn.
I know.
It's the hard part.
Yep. There you go.
I'm going to try to go this way first.
Go ahead. Go. I'm here to guide you. Yeah. If it was easy, you wouldn't need to be here. You wouldn't have it. I know. Yep. That left side's all got to stretch out. And when you bring your knees left, the right side's stretching.
Am I supposed to be with my core? Am I supposed to tighten it?
Nope.
It's- okay.
Loosen it. It's supposed to all relax. Breathe and exhale. You're trying to let it go. You're trying to sink into the floor. Let your body. You're not gonna hurt yourself, I promise. It's going to be uncomfortable and difficult, but if this was easy, like I said, you wouldn't need to be here. And then stay in the middle, breathe, take a break for as much as you can. And then, very good, you got it. You don't brush your teeth, eat a bowl of ice cream, and go to bed,
Sure.
and then complain to your dental hygienist how, it's like, well, you need the last thing you do to be the stretch, to put your spine in the right alignment, and then you go to bed. And then obviously, you don't want to be sleeping fetal position, right? Because if you're sleeping with
Yeah.
your knees up, you see how that's stretching? It's the opposite of this, right? If you're sleeping all bent forward, you're counter stretching the work that you just did,
So you
arching back.
recommend on your back?
Well, you should be on your back.
I've been doing back lately.
Good. I'm saying is you want
I used to always on one side, and that was another thing. I'd always be on my right side
uh-huh.
for so much of my life, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, you want to be on your back, head no more than 45
Yeah.
degrees rotated, somewhere in here is ideal. Now what happens is because there's a lot of, inflammation in your back, people avoid their back. Does that make sense? They go to their side to get away from it.
Yeah.
It's oh no, I have to sleep on my side, and I have to sleep with my knees up because this is a fetal position, an avoidance position. Okay.
I feel good.
Yeah.
Feels great.
Yeah, so like I said, you're all ready. Epsom salt would be a good thing to do if you have the
Yeah.
ability to salt. Otherwise, tomorrow morning gonna be a little tender. A lot of water today. Very good.
Thank you.
Perfect. There
I
you go.
felt amazing.
You did great. And what's your
Thank
channel?
you.
What do you have an idea of what your
Right.
channel's gonna?
My YouTube is Trey Splash. I do basketball content, work with influencers. Gonna be working with tons of people.
Okay.
Check me out, please.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
All right, bud.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it, man. Yep.